My name's Cyrlene and I'm a victim of rape.
How do you think your life would have been different had you not been raped?
Stop a minute. Talking about the rape now, obviously I'm doing this documentary. Nothing don't happen by chance or coincidence. I think everything's meant to be. So when I was approached and you didn't know I'd been through it, I saw it as a sign. And I feel this is part of me getting better to be able to talk about it, because obviously from the age of 16 it's something I've kept in and it's been so lonely on my own. So I feel good I can now actually talk about it, and I hope it's a way of encouragement for the people that are suffering in silence, or the ladies or guys, because it happens to guys as well, suffer in silence, that they get the courage to talk about it and deal with it and report it. I was 16 years old. I was out at a so-called blues party back in them days. I was offered a lift home by a friend of mine, along with two other guys. On arriving at my house, they wanted to use the bathroom, so they all came in. A couple of them used the bathroom. I then went to use the bathroom, and one guy was left in the house. The other two had left, and at that point he started to scare me and rape me. A few months later, my doorbell rang. I wasn't out that night, and I answered my door. It was a rapist again. And he came in. I went on my hands and knees and begged him, please don't do it to me. Please don't do it to me. At that time, I was seeing a gentleman, and he sort of brought this gentleman's name up and asked if this gentleman had done it to me. And I said, no, he wouldn't do that to me. So he raped me again. You know, he's took part of my life, the majority of my life. He's affected me by what he's done. Relationships, not having children. This has affected it a lot in terms of trust. My relationships, are just no trust in them. I've not had children because you need a man to have children, and you know, it's been really difficult because I don't trust, or I wasn't ready at the time when I was younger. You know, it's just a depression. The first time telling my friend about it, she was the one that I called straight away after it happened. Called her from my phone. Obviously, I was upset. Tried to scrub my skin off my body. Weren't sure if I should tell the police. Frightened. I just didn't know what to do. And I just kept it to myself apart from that, because I was just too terrified of the guy, you know, and obviously I was really young, you know, I was a young girl. It broke my mum's heart. I couldn't tell her that. I told my mum about 10 to 15 years later. Obviously upset, sorry that it's happened, you know, going through it all alone. So I just told the one person at the time, the first time, and it was the same person the second time. But that time I did call the police. because I just thought he's just going to keep coming back and doing it to me. So I did tell the police. They took the sheets, they took what they could take, but I gave my statement and just didn't give a name. Them days, the police, there was not computerised, there was no mobile phone, so they just took things on a notepad in them days, and maybe if I'd give a name, it might have made a difference. But I was just too terrified because he did threaten me, told me that when I saw him I must say hello, and I can't tell anybody. And he was still going on with his madness around Leicester City, terrorising and troubling people. It's just recently that I feel comfortable to talk about it, I'd say since my 40th birthday. Since I've reported it, I really feel like this second time, in 2012, I really feel like I've turned a corner. I feel there is a difference, and I just think I've just had enough of just keeping it in. Being able to talk about it, I've kept it in so many years, all on my own, choking on it, suffering in depression. It might be 1 year later, every 2 years or 5 years, it always came back. And I feel good now that I can actually talk about it, and I can tell anybody now, you know, because I know, and not that I thought I'd done anything wrong or I'd been ashamed of or done anything wrong, it was more out of fear. I reported it with the help of a team in Lewisham. At the time I reported it, I remember 27th of August 2012.
So 1 in 4 supports victims of rape by providing long-term specialist counselling, working with trauma. The 2 years allows the client to build a relationship with the therapist.
We run a specialist advocacy service which mainly supports clients through reporting through the criminal justice system. So that would be similar to an ISVA, Independent Sexual Violence Advisor. And we also help clients if they want to seek compensation in civil law or criminal injuries, that type of thing.
So I've worked with a lot of young women who have been date raped with Rohypnol or whatever that happens to be used on them. And they'll have no recall from a certain point at the night, and then they wake up in places, have no idea how they got there. They're battered, beaten and bruised. They've got nothing on them. They have no idea what's happened to them. And the next thing they know is that it's being sent round on a phone. Mm-hmm. And the level of shame that is experienced by her keeps her silent. And I think that probably shame is a massive part of why people don't report, of why people don't tell other people, of why it's easier to blame the victim than it is to actually address the perpetrator.
When I was raped and that, I felt so alone. I felt like it didn't happen to anybody else. I felt like I couldn't tell anybody. I thought it didn't happen to black people. I thought it was just white people. That's one of the thoughts that went through my mind, because on TV that's all you really saw. But growing older and meeting people, paedophilia, rape, all those things happen far, far more. It's like if you haven't had it done to you, you're lucky. And for other people that have gone through it, don't keep it to yourself, you know, just, you know, you need to tell somebody it isn't right if you're a child in a home and a parent or a family member or a teacher or a guardian or anybody is doing anything inappropriate to you that doesn't feel good, and they tell you it's okay and don't tell anybody. You need to open your mouth and talk, because you don't want to have that burden and it to affect your whole life like it is more or less mine. You know?